We open to 2013. Young me, cruising Reddit, as you do, comes across a photo. Unreal Engine Pokemon. What a dream. Smash cut to 2015, where a new video is making the rounds on YouTube. A short proof of concept, an open-world Pokemon game fan-developed in Unreal Engine 4, bare and stripped down to just an open field in our Kanto starters, but it triggers something in many, the desire for more. Moving along, we're in 2017 now, not an important year, just when the Switch releases, changing the gaming landscape. Now, the long-buried memory of an open-world Pokemon game begins to sprout life in my mind. How can our dreams be real if our eyes aren't real? At this point, we're on our way to receiving the last 3DS mainline Pokemon title, Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, and while they increase difficulty and add quality of life changes, there was the distinct sense that Pokemon was stagnating in the waters of Lake Verity. With the release of the Switch came one of the most influential titles of the last 5 years, one Pokémon and Legends would see comparisons to from conception to release and beyond. Breath of the Wild. What would Pokemon look like if this is what the Switch could do to revamp a series like Zelda? Well, we didn't exactly get something groundbreaking first. Pokemon Sword and Shield, mired in controversy and public discourse, would release as the crowd went mild. Sales numbers wouldn't tell that tale though, as they went on to be the highest selling Switch games collectively. A pair of technically sound games in many ways, but the pervasive sense of stagnation would continue. Despite the change in hardware and capabilities, why couldn't Pokemon evolve? Well, my guys, gals, and non-binary pals, I welcome you to evolution. The good. A change of pace. Pokemon has always had a pacing problem. Literally, the turn-based mechanic and the amount of wasted animation and notification time has made Pokemon a relatively slow-to-play franchise. Unnecessary additional steps and button presses make even quick battles tedious, as you see the same alerts precede and finish every encounter. In many ways, brought to its zenith with the BDSP remakes, where the affection mechanic slows down the battles to a crawl, despite the quicker pace of the game itself. Now battles start in the open world. Quick and responsive, the Pokemon you journey with feel closer to you than ever as you get in and out of battles or catching sprees, able to catch or battle a dozen Pokemon within the span of a couple minutes, all within the world you occupy. Chuck out your Pokemon and say hi, the whole team even. In many ways, Legends feels like the realization of Satoshi Tajiri's dream. Go out, touch grass, collect Pokemon. Your Pokemon also connect with the world more than ever before. HMs don't exist, but what take their place is more natural in many ways. When you walk up to the water, you can simply mount your surfer. We never needed to be asked if we actually wanted to swim, then press yes to confirm and then an animation to get on it. When we approached the water, our intention was obvious. There are a few designated ride Pokemon, true, but beyond that, if you just have a Pokemon that can smash rocks, then throwing them at the rock will accomplish the task. Right there with you, knocking trees, gathering berries, or just saying hi. My Pokemon were with me, and I needed them in ways that felt less compulsory than the word implies. The story. Few games within the mainline Pokemon franchise have sought to shake up the formula, none more so than Sun and Moon with their trial captains and totem Pokemon. Concept that began a tentative step in a new direction of how we interact with the world and progress the story. No matter what though, we were always hounded by an evil team and suffering through a fairly bog-standard plot. In Legends, we see a real change of pace. It's an isekai! Words can't describe the joy I felt as I realized I wasn't playing Pokemon. No, instead I'm playing, oops, I fell into an interdimensional portal and was reincarnated with a god phone. A classic light novel title if I've ever heard one. We're thrust into a new world, and for once the world being explained to you feels relevant. You are a stranger in a strange land, wild and untamed. But you're still the main character though, so it's safe to say you get your bearings quick. In the sea of Breath of the Wild comparisons, the more apt one is Monster Hunter. This is a hub world, not an open world. You're taking on missions in a village that struggles with the balance of nature and its growing society. You complete missions and objectives, farming both Pokemon and materials as you increase your strength to tackle larger, more aggressive monsters. You have several goals, but none of them carry the weight of saving the world. You're merely helping society through its growing pains. Rival clans, roaming bandits, genuine reflection on death and the marks it leaves on both Pokemon and people. I can't say enough about the change in tone here. Talking down to no one, it uses the world and the space it's created to tell a story suited to its scope. Instead of rival henchmen or shadowy leaders, our struggles are less against people and more against the wild nature of the world. Something is driving noble Pokemon wild, and as a part of the Galaxy team, you want to help quell the problem. Making the struggle one of integration and cooperation in this changing world is just plain good storytelling, and I think it deserves some love. Good thing too, because if that was the love, then here comes the tough. The bad. Do graphics matter? I'll start here because there's no beating around the weird, fragmented, flat-branched bush. This game at times looks like garbage. Do graphics matter? Well, yes, actually, but no. Graphical fidelity is not something we go to the Switch for. That's a general fact of the platform. But that's not to say that presentation gets a pass. Comparisons to Breath of the Wild are well worn at this point, but that game is 5 years old, and it isn't graphical fidelity that helps it stand up to time. It's the art direction, colors, and integration of the models and textures into the world that helps disguise or otherwise obfuscate the messy edges. No such work is done here, as Legend feels and looks like an alpha build, a $60 alpha build, from the highest grossing franchise in the whole world. From texture and model pop-in to undetailed or lifeless assets, the world looks rough, open, and empty. Only able to populate 4 to 6 Pokemon comfortably on screen due to draw distance and environmental effects, the use of comfortably here being generous. Fog that feels ripped from a PS2, and environments on the horizon that fragment and change with every step. I think my personal favorite has to be the flying, glitching Pokemon in the distance. Poor Gyarados looks like he's running Crisis on his 15-year-old laptop. Oh, and shouts out to the face my guy makes every time he enters a new area, and we're supposed to be hit with that awe-inspiring vista, and it's just this. Beyond this, the controls and menuing can be a bit janky, but there it feels more like a new concept being figured out as they attempt to tie the various systems together in a way that feels accessible and engaging. Mixing both traditional menu controls and open world battling had its frustrating moments, but it feels like time will sort out. But time will never sort out my absolute hatred for bag management though. Pain every time. The slow start to the game, tied in with a grindy late game, means this game feels like the opposite of a compliment sandwich. After an hour-long intro, it felt like we were finally picking up steam, and it didn't seem to finally hit its stride until the first major boss about 4 hours in. With a game like this, exploration should feel baked into the DNA of the experience, but in this world, the only benefit to exploring is an alpha Pokemon or two. A few lore moments thankfully, but more could be done to make the world more engaging. Finally, the cutscenes and all character interactions once again suffer from the lack of voice acting. Now let's be clear, I had like a negative amount of expectations on this game. I certainly didn't expect voice acting, because when they make that change, you can bet you'll know. I have no doubt they'll break their arm jerking themselves off about it. That said though, this game suffers more than others. Heavy emphasis on the character interactions and cutscenes leave us feeling unfulfilled with the lifeless direction. Just shot, reverse shot, almost exclusively as we watch two people pantomime the spark of life behind their dead eyes. Enough with the bad though, let's get back to the good and hopeful. Quality of life was better in my day. Rapid fire quality of life changes around here. I really hope many of these stick around. Move pools can be edited at any point. The move tutor and ability to change moves on the fly is how Pokemon should be, period. In-world battles feel quick and punchy. Being able to run around my Pokemon as it gets to battling is addicting. Able to switch targets, switch to throwable items, change out Pokemon, all with contextual button presses keeping you out of menus and in the action. Side missions that flesh out the world, lore, and more. From Drifloon balloons to helping Jubilife Village begin its growth towards the metropolis it would become, one store owner quest at a time. No trade Pokemon needed and no version exclusives to be seen. This is an unquestioned good change. You can still trade evolve as needed or wanted, but the addition of the link cable item means it's a choice. Long have people complained about the increasingly tenuous reason for a dual version release yearly. Legends proves it's unnecessary as initial sales appear to show it outselling both of the other Switch Pokemon titles. Crafting Pokeballs and healing items with the option to purchase gives players control over their expeditions and makes it feel like the adventure is in your hands. Evolving being a choice is awesome, allowing you to wait or take as much time as needed to earn new moves or flesh out the dex entry, and the animation for it has never looked better. Strong or agile moves, allowing you to change the order with which your Pokemon attack and the enemies attack, giving you even more control over the flow of battle. These are all good things, all things that should stay. Will a real Pokedex please stand up? The Pokedex is enshrined in early Pokemon in ways that later titles could never emulate, not since they removed the catch-em-all tagline. So formative to early Pokemon, the Pokedex was our avenue to both personal and in-world expansion. We learned more as we picked up new mons, but sometimes it felt like the answer was already there. We were just filling it in. Here, we're in control. We're the captains now. Look at me. This version of the Pokedex feels true to the essence of the goal, to expand the world's knowledge on Pokemon, to learn more about them and the way we interact with them. Do they use strong or agile moves? Do they mess with villages? What are their signature moves? Do they run in packs? Do they come in large or small sizes? What kind of food do they like? All these questions and more are incorporated into what will be a completionist's fantasy or nightmare depending on the context. The Pokedex flavor text of old days was always a treat, and we got to see myths and facts all rolled into this encyclopedic entry meant to convey information in bytes. Here, though, we get to build those myths and, well, legends ourselves. When you reach for the stars, you land on the clouds. Much can be said about this game's triumphs and failures, but more importantly, I want to stress I really liked this game. I think it's broken and ugly at times, but any negative I can comment on, I feel inclined to give them slack on due to the very nature of them trying, reaching for something more, something different. When you come out with a Pokemon Sword and Shield that looks just like another in a line of formulaic entries, you get less leeway. Your efforts will be more scrutinized by virtue of you doing something you've always done. Here, though, my critiques come from a genuine sense of hope and not dismay. I hope Game Freak gets more help to improve the areas of this game that need improvement. This should not be the last Legends game, because this title finally showed that given enough time and the guts to take the leap, Pokemon can truly evolve. Thanks for watching. Like it if you like it, sub us if you love us, and share if you care. Say hi to my dogs while you're here, and be safe, y'all.